Congratulations! You just hatched from an ootheca, a hard-shelled egg case your mother carried inside her body. You looked around, raised your antennae into the air, and realized you're a cockroach now. And almost every living creature on this planet will, the moment it sees you, either try to kill you or try to run from you. Humans scream when they see you. They throw slippers. They spray insecticide. And even though you have no intention of harming them, you're one of the most hated creatures on the planet. Just think about how fair that really is. Good news. You're probably a human watching this video right now, and no one has ever tried to crush you under a jar. Bad news. You're about to learn just how fragile and brutal an existence this tiny survival machine actually has. A creature that has managed to survive for millions of years, yet still fights a life-or-death battle every single day. Welcome. The lights are about to turn on, and you're about to have to run. Anatomy, a flawed survival machine. The exoskeleton, armor, or a prison. Let's start with your body. You have no internal skeleton. Everything is on the outside. This exoskeleton, made of a hard, flexible material called chitin, both protects you and constrains you. It protects you because, thanks to this armor, you can withstand an incredible amount of pressure relative to your size. Scientific studies show that your body structure can endure pressure up to roughly 900 times your own body weight, a ratio comparable to a human having a skyscraper placed on top of them. But this armor comes at a cost. To grow, you have to completely abandon it at regular intervals. This is called molting, ecdysis. For the several hours it takes your new shell to harden, you're soft, defenseless, and barely able to move. It's exactly in these moments that even the smallest predator can finish you off in a single bite. The tracheal system, a life without lungs. You don't have lungs. Instead, you have small openings lined along the sides of your body. These are called spiracles. Air reaches your tissues directly through thin tubes, called tracheae, that extend from these openings all the way to your internal organs. This system might sound efficient, but it has a serious limitation. It relies on passive diffusion, meaning oxygen spreads into your body on its own, with no active pump mechanism. This means that as your body size increases, it becomes harder and harder for oxygen to reach the farthest tissues. This is exactly why scientists explain that this system is why you could never reach giant proportions, meaning a car-sized cockroach, like something out of a sci-fi movie, could never actually exist. If your body grew too large, you'd collapse from oxygen starvation from the inside out, surviving without a head, a curse, or a blessing. Now let's get to the most disturbing fact. Even if your head is cut off, you can survive for days, according to some records, up to a week. The reason is that your brain isn't the only control center in your body. You have small nerve clusters called ganglia operating independently in each body segment. These ganglia can manage basic movements and reflexes without any input from the brain. And since your respiratory system operates through spiracles rather than a head, you don't even need a head to breathe. So why do you eventually die? Because you can't drink water without a mouth. In the end, what kills you isn't the injury, it's thirst. Sounds like a cruel irony, doesn't it? Your survival system is so good that even your death arrives slowly and silently, through thirst. Radiation resistance. Myth or reality? You've probably heard the legend that only cockroaches would survive a nuclear war. There's a partial scientific basis for this. Because your cells divide more slowly than human cells, you're somewhat more resistant to radiation. Some estimates suggest you can withstand roughly 6 to 15 times more radiation than a human. But this doesn't mean you're indestructible. A high dose of heat, a pressure wave, and intense radiation can kill you instantly, just like most other living things. You're simply somewhat more resistant to low to moderate levels of radiation than other creatures. This isn't a superpower, just a cellular technicality. The survival struggle. Cerci, the invisible eyes behind you. At the back end of your body, you have two small appendages called cerci. The microscopic hairs on these structures can detect even the slightest change in air currents. When a predator approaches, you can sense the air disturbance it creates and start fleeing in roughly 50 milliseconds, far faster than the blink of an eye. This is one of the fastest escape reflexes in nature, but this system has a weakness. It only detects moving threats. You can't sense a stationary danger in advance, like a slipper about to be dropped on you. or a sticky trap waiting silently. No matter how fast your reflexes are, you're completely blind to a threat that approaches quietly and without movement. The predator list, it's not just humans. Now let's look at who's hunting you. Spiders, especially web-building species, lie in wait for your nighttime movements. Once you're caught in a web, even your chitin armor won't save you. Lizards and frogs. Agile enough to match your speed, they know how to ambush you in the same damp corners you hide in during the day. Birds, especially urban species, see you as a convenient protein source. And of course, humans, probably the most efficient, creative, and relentless predator on the planet. Slippers, rolled-up newspapers, insecticide sprays, sticky traps, and even electronic devices specifically designed to kill you. No other species dedicates this many resources to wiping out yours. When food sources run out, even your own social structure can turn against you. In some cockroach species, especially during periods of scarcity, weak or injured individuals can be eaten by others. In some species, individuals that have just molted, whose new shell hasn't hardened yet, can become an easy meal for their own kind. So living within a social group doesn't always mean safety for you. Sometimes it just means being closer to a potential threat. Humans wage a genuine chemical war to wipe you out. Insecticides that target the nervous system paralyze and kill you. But here's an interesting detail. Your species can develop resistance to these chemicals over generations. While this might sound like good news for you, it actually means an endless arms race. As humans develop stronger chemicals, your species is forced to keep evolving just to survive. It's a chase that never ends. And even if you gain resistance to these chemicals, sticky traps, boric acid baits, or simply the sole of a shoe present far more primitive but equally effective threats that render your evolutionary advantages completely irrelevant. Some of your species do have wings, yes, but most species can't use them efficiently. Your flight muscles aren't developed enough to make you a genuinely agile flyer. This is why, most of the time, your wings function more like an emergency parachute. You glide a short distance and drop back to the ground, rather than using them as a real escape strategy. Which means your greatest survival tool isn't your wings, it's your incredibly fast legs. But the energy you burn while running depletes quickly because of that inefficient tracheal system we mentioned earlier, meaning you can't run forever. So what have we learned from all this? Being a cockroach means having armor that both protects and restricts you, never having quite enough oxygen, being able to survive decapitation only to die of thirst instead, and living in a world where nearly every creature on the planet, including your own kind, sees you as either a threat or a meal. Right now, as you watch this video, you're probably sitting comfortably in a chair, no one is spraying insecticide at you, and your head is still attached to your body, intact and whole. Nature isn't graceful, isn't fair, and sometimes isn't even logical. But for a cockroach, this is just an ordinary Tuesday that's been repeating for millions of years. Next time you flip on your kitchen light and see a cockroach scrambling toward a crack in the wall, give it a little respect. It's quietly and stubbornly surviving in a world far more brutal than you could ever imagine.